Okay guys, so yesterday we talked about a couple different things. First we looked at how to find the slope of a line. Can anybody remind us, how many points do we need just to find the slope of a line? That's right, Bobby, we only need 2 points. And it doesn't matter what 2 points we choose on that line. As long as we have 2 points, we will always be able to find the slope of that line. Can anybody else add on to what Bobby said and remind the class what formula we use to find the slope of the line with 2 points? Abby, yes, correct. It's the y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. That will always give us the slope of a line. Now, before we left, then we started talking about and we introduced the slope-intercept form equation. Does anybody want to try to give a try on what that equation actually says? Alice? Yes, it's y equals mx plus b. And we talked about what these letters meant within this equation. Does anybody want to remind the class what m indeed stands for? It's not marbles. You're close though. Close. Someone, thank you for that comment, but someone else help them out. What does m actually stand for? Correct. Slope. It is the slope of that line in that equation. Then we went on and talked about what b stand for. And I told you about the story with the football. When the football team when the offense has the ball and they throw it and the other team intercepts it, that means that it's went through someone else's hands. So with that little reminder, what does B indeed stand for? Good, Rex. It stands for y-intercept. And you think about our y-axis as the other people's hands. And that line is intercepting the y-axis, which is indeed giving us our y-intercept form. So, with that little recap from yesterday, what we're going to be practicing today is just looking at a graph and being able to write the equation for that line. That's our goal for today. So, first thing we're going to do, I wrote a graph, so you guys already copied it when you came in. So what we're going to do is, you should have written down your slope-intercept form equation right here. Now, all we have to do is fill in the information that the line gives us. So where does someone think we should start? Let me see. Please turn around, stop talking. Let me see. Let's go with Allie again. Allie, help us out. Where do you think we should start? You think we should start with B. Why do you think we should start with B? Yes, because it's easy to tell where the line goes through the y-axis. Therefore, we're already going to know what B is, and B is my y-intercept. So, just looking at this line, what number does the line go through on our y-axis? 2, correct. So, right here for B, we're going to write 2. Now, do I write plus 2 or minus 2? Plus 2. And why do I write plus 2? Because it's at positive 2. If that line were going through negative 2, we would indeed write minus 2. So good job there. Now all we need to know is the slope. Well, how many points are on a line? Someone answer that. There is 1. There are 2. And I'll give you a little hint. There are an infinite amount of points on a line. Because a line goes on forever. That means there's so many points that we can't even count them. But how many do we need to find the slope of a line that we practiced all day yesterday and reviewed right when you guys came in? Yes, we only need 2. But does anybody recall talking about a little thing called rise over run? Yeah, we talked about that yesterday after we went through all the math. So since we indeed have this line, we can save ourselves some trouble and use our rise over run instead of having to do all this math. We'd rather just do a little shortcut, right? Now, if you like to take 2 points and do the math, that is fine. If that works for you, that's great. You can't go wrong. I'm going to show you another way we can do this. You're always going to start at your y-intercept. So what I want you guys to do is put your pencil on your y-intercept. We have to make it back to the line. So do we have to go up or down? If we go up and go 1, 2, how many have we risen? We went 2. We went up 2. Now we have to go over. Did we make it back to the line? Yes, we did. We made it back to the line, and how many did we go over? 2 over 1. And we can check that again to see if it works. 1, 2, 1. Did we make it back to the line every time? So we knew that we did this right. And what is 2 divided by 1? It's 2. So the slope of this line is what? 2. Perfect. So no math involved. We looked at this graph, we took it and we put it in slope-intercept form. And the equation for that line that we just found out together is y equals 2x plus 2. And notice that it does have a positive increase, or a positive slope per se, and our slope right here in our equation is positive. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to put one up on the board. I'm going to give you guys a second. And then I'm going to come around and just make sure you guys are doing okay on this. Then we'll get started with our book work. Okay? So let's say our line went through. Here we go. Okay? So you guys walk me through. I don't know anything. You guys know everything because you guys are smart. I'm just up here with the pen. So someone raise their hand and tell me where I start. Chris. I'm going to start, you say -3, so why -3? Yes, because that is where it goes through the y-axis, and B stands for what? Y-intercept. So our y-intercept for our equation, or our B for our equation is, indeed, it's -3. So we're going to write -3. Now, to find the slope, what do we have to do here? We're going to start at our y-intercept. But what's the difference between this line and the last line we're working with? This line is, if we start from left to right, and it's going down. So what does that tell us? Let's go back to Chris. You've been doing so good. What does that tell us about that line? That it's negative. You're going down, like you're going down an escalator. This slope is going to be negative. So we can't go down into over. We're going to have to go down and to the right and try to make it back to the line. So let's count. We're going to put our I'm going to give you guys a second actually, and you take your time and you figure that out. Go ahead and raise your hand when you got the answer. Okay, Dylan. Let's give everybody a chance to grab your, and when you got your answer, put your pencil down, and then Dylan's going to lead us in with the slope. Alright, seems like everybody's ready to go. Dylan, help us out. What did you do to find the slope of the line? Okay, so you put your pencil on the y-intercept, which Chris helped us out. It's -3. And then you went down. Why did you go down? Because the line's negative. How many did you go down? You went down 2. And how many did you go over to make it back to the line? 1. So if you went down, is it a +2 or a -2? You went down -2. So -2 divided by a positive, a negative divided by a positive is, because you guys are so smart, 8th graders, it is -2. So the slope, Dylan, is what then? -2. So as you see, I gave you the same exact slope, but I just switched it to a negative and to a positive. That's good testing strategy that we can think about when we're looking at problems. So what I want you guys to do is go ahead and finish that up. Go ahead and get your books out. Okay? And we are going to work on pages 318, 1 through 6. And I just want to make sure you guys are getting this. So I need you to show all your work. Okay? Show all your work. And I'm going to come around now. If you have a question, raise your hand. I'll come over and help you out. And then before we're answering any last minute questions before you guys tackle on your homework for tonight. Okay? Alright, go ahead and get started.